Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to eBay Amazon Corner, where I give tips and tricks for eBay and Amazon, mainly eBay, but I will throw in some Amazon tips here and there. And this is great for new Hawaii sellers because our policies are different than the mainland. We don't have that discount, and we're basically super far from the mainland, and our policies work differently. So, anyways, in this episode, I want to discuss how to deal with returns because when I woke up this morning, I actually had a return. So this video just came to mind, and yeah, so I've been dealing with returns for a long time, and it's part of the business, especially on eBay, because you're gonna run into people that wanna rent your stuff, or they bought it because of impulse, and when they get it, they're like, oh, I want to return it. So the first thing they're gonna do is actually open up an eBay case, and there's actually ways that the buyer can return the item, and one of those ways that are usually used because the seller can't decline the return is not as described, and this one pretty much trumps all return case if for you to fight it. But if you have valid information that proves that it's a buyer's remorse, you can get away with it. And not as described items usually happen when the buyer try to scam you, or they want to return it, but they know it's a buyer's remorse. So by them opening a not as described case, uh, eBay will have them return it no matter what. And you guys got to remember that even though you don't offer any returns, eBay will still make you return it. And they're actually pushing for free returns, which will kill you in the long run because, for example, charge charge for free shipping. So the item costs $30, but you want to make your profit. You bought it for $5. You want to make your profit, and so you want the good rankings. So you do the free return. And if it gets to them and you still offer return, you have to pay for the shipping back most of the time, unless you specify. But if you offer free returns and it was your mistake, you're eating that cost. Be eating double costs of the shipping, and you don't want that. So that's why I always encourage um, no, putting no returns and trying to describe your item as best as you can, so you can avoid situations like this. But yeah, so let's get on with the show. So let me put up the screen. All right, so it says right here you have a return request, and you got to keep in mind that when a buyer initiates a return, um, eBay will notify PayPal to hold your funds. So even if you spent the money, they're gonna take back the money. So they're gonna take it back anywhere that they can find it that's linked to your PayPal account. So they'll take your balance, and if you don't have money to cover that, they'll take it from your bank also. And the only way to get your money back is to solve the case with the buyer, and it's gonna take a while because if the buyer return use it initiates the return with eBay and they you win the case, they still can technically open another case with PayPal, which basically is a nightmare because PayPal does not look at what you're doing on eBay. They just care about what the customer information and what the customers provide. So you want to try to avoid that and try to screenshot as much as information as you can uh, for you to protect yourself. Just look at return cases as like eBay um, civil court or divorce court or whatever you want to call it. The more proof you have, the better chance you'll win. So as you can see here, he said there's something wrong with the item and doesn't work or defective, and this is basically another way that you can open the case doesn't work or defective. Um, if you, as you can see, the person actually was talking about the shoes I sold, which is a $64 shoes. I don't mind it, but um, this is clearly a buyer's remorse case, and buyer's remorse case trumps the, the not as described case, and it's not your fault. You're protected. That's the only way you're protected, buyer's remorse. And that could be like shoe fitment, the person changed their mind, and all that good stuff. So it looks right here. I actually called the eBay customer service, and they said that it is clearly a buyer's remorse because the shoe will not fit. This person tried to word it like something's wrong with the shoe, but it's not because she worded wrong because it says it I only feel it when shoe is on my foot. So obviously her foot is too big that the right side of her foot is touching the side of the shoe. She want to say something is pricking at at the shoe, but she said she can't see it. So technically her foot is all the way to the right side of the shoe. So this and then she put love the shoes. So she's basically trying to say it nicely like I'm it's too big for me, but I really like the shoe. I mean, it's too small for me, but I really like the shoe. So, anyways, if if I would take this back if it was my fault, but like I said, I'm not responsible for the shoe size or the buyer's foot size. So I contacted eBay and they told me, yeah, it's technically a well, it is a buyer's remorse case, but they can't step in until April 16. So they're gonna tell you to try to work it out with the customer, but most of the time when this case is open and they don't put in their comments that they want a partial refund, they want a full refund. So I told what I usually do, I don't even contact the customer honestly because they're gonna try to fight you and then it'll lead to a negative feedback. So what I usually do is I confirm with eBay first to see what they think, and then I tell them straight up, I'm not gonna contact this buyer um because of the fact that it is a buyer's remorse, and I don't want to escalate this and agitate the buyer, which will probably lead to a bad feedback. I know this will probably lead to a bad feedback, but the chances of having a bad feedback because of you pissing off the buyer is really high if you message them. So what they told me was to wait a few days till April 16, it says there, and they can step in. And you wanna follow up with the customer service about like what is going on the next time you call, so they can check the footnotes because sometimes the customer service agents will not even put anything under the notes, which will basically screw you over. And if you do let them step in, they're not gonna look at what your side. They're gonna look at what they put, and 99.9% of the time they will side with the buyer. And to protect yourself, just force them to freaking write down notes on your case. So yeah, so I'm gonna wait till next week to see what happens. Um, most likely this will probably get closed because I had one prior to that, and they actually left me a bad feedback. So I called again the appeals department, and they took out the negative feedback because basically they were trying to extort me to give them more money or their money back in exchange for the negative feedback, which is a big no-no for on eBay. But yeah, that's about it. Dealing with returns. If you do accept the returns, make sure you inspect it. Okay, don't refund the money until you inspect the item. If you refund the money as soon as the item came in, you're screwed. You have no way of getting your money back because you already approved it and said, "Oh yeah, it's all good." But if you just took a quick look at the item and the internals of the item, for example, a electronic, it's missing parts, you're screwed because the item you already approved the return, the refund, and basically when you approve the refund, it's uh it's basically telling eBay that it's in good condition. So you want to wait. And if eBay refunds them, you can always appeal. You might have to appeal twice. Sometimes you'll get lucky and appeal once and you'll get your money back and you'll be compensated. But most of the time you have to do at least 2 to 3 times. It's a hassle, part of the business. I try. I rarely get returns, honestly. I don't offer returns, but if it's my fault, I usually just eat up the cost and have them keep it. But if it's a big item, I will just take it back. But that's my take on returns. Just remember that even if they return the item, you can always resell it. I have a lot of experience where I got the item back and I sold it again. If somebody will buy it the first time, somebody will buy it the second time. And it's just a matter of how to handle the returns. So yeah, you'll be. I can guarantee when you get your first return, you'll be pissed off, and it's it's a really bad feeling, honestly. But when you start getting returns, like regularly, or you have experience with returns, you won't be affected by it. It won't hurt you emotionally. Because the first return I got, I was hurt emotionally. Not emotionally, but I was pissed off. Like, why do you want to return it? Or I was trying to like find reason to blame the customer, but you will. It's part of the business. The cost of doing business returns. Yeah. So, anyways, yep, that's it. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like I said, I'll be trying to pump more content. Trying to get used to actually having these videos up and putting them up weekly. Because I know I've been slacking, and I know I need to be putting out more content for you guys to help you guys, because that's what I want to do, and that's the goal. Um, anyways, you can refer back to the free information I give on the videos, or you can buy my guide, which is basically what I learned from the start to today. And I can guarantee you this will make your first sale, and um, that this guide will help you out um, in the long run. And you can refer back to this guide, and it will save you money. I can guarantee it will save you money and time, because this is basically all my mistakes I made when I first started. And I've been selling full time for almost 2 years now, so well, about a year and a half. But yeah, this is basically the skip button on the headaches when dealing with eBay. So yeah, thanks to everybody for watching again. I appreciate everybody. Yep, please support the channel, subscribe and like. All right, peace.